Hey there, welcome to the GAIA Daily for January 25th through 29th, 2021. I'm Adrienne Elise. How are you doing? This is some of the most intense astrology, especially for the SuperNova Soul right now, as we are in this weird death grip of the lower matrix. With all these planets in square as we lead up to this Leo full moon on Thursday. And the three triplets of planets in Aquarius and three planets in Taurus in exact square to each other, and then bring the moon in for this Leo full moon. That's a fixed T-square. And there is so much tension in this massive radical change that's happening, and yet no evidence of it in our world. In fact, our world looks more dark, more hopeless, more disconcerting, discouraging. And I wanted to address this feeling in the collective of our SuperNova Soul tribe, what I'm feeling, this deep defeat. Are we ever going to get anywhere? Is all our work for nothing? Have we been duped? Has this been all a hoax? Now, this is the energy that we're dealing with right now with Neptune in exact square to the nodes. And that's going to be through the 27th. So the next couple of days, and of course we'll feel it ongoing. It doesn't come off completely, the effect of this, until February 22nd. So Neptune in exact square to the nodes. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces in Pisces, speaking to the Piscean age, speaking to the old paradigm of kind of what got us into this mess, which is a whole bunch of lies and delusions. Now, the SuperNova Soul, as you've gone through all of your stuff you've gone through, and all the healing you've done, all the karmic work you've done, all the trauma healing you've done, showing up, just making it through, staying awake, even though forces wanted to pull you into deep distractions and delusions and addictions, and you've stood your ground. And now it feels like, have we been sold down the river? Is this Aquarian Age? Is this just another opportunity to farm and control us? Because SuperNova Souls, these advanced light workers on the planet right now, are feeling a bit frustrated, to put it lightly. But this is exactly this astrology. And actually the frustration is coming from how mistreated you have been. And I think this is the energy to just acknowledge. We know that something better is coming. We know that we hold the God codes within us. We know that we've done our part. We've been showing up. But there's this energy of the Taurus energy. I mean, we've got Uranus, Mars right next to Uranus and right next to Black Moon Lilith. And so Taurus is about our wealth and worth. This is a revolution of wealth, a revolution of the physical, a revolution of the dark to the light with Black Moon Lilith. But it feels like we're not getting anywhere. But what that's really about for the SuperNova Soul is grabbing a hold of the power of your wealth. And I know I've been talking about this, but the metaphor that comes for me right now is almost like this urging, this yearning, I hear your messages, I hear your cries, I hear how you feel, And as a leader of SuperNova Souls, it's I feel like I want to go out and be your union rep and be like, hey, if you want to continue to have access to the power of these SuperNova Souls, some shit's got to change, And it's almost this metaphorically, a feeling in the SuperNova Soul wait a minute. I'm getting the short end of the stick again and again, and I'm getting beaten down. I'm under psychic attack. I'm being microwaved within an inch of my life. And we need to reevaluate this situation. And the deal is that as you go through this thought process, come to the absolute realization that how much wealth you have. And that this human evolution, where we're at in this dramatic play of events, you are the most important piece of the puzzle. You are the most important part of this experience right now. And you feel like you're being treated like garbage. And you are. And you've been hogtied. You've got all this gifts and skills. And all this wealth and no systems, everything working against that. You're rejected again and again. And we're in a really effed up place because the message is that, well, we can't move forward because the psyche of humanity can't handle the truth, And it's like, wait a minute though, because we have this huge group of incredible, psychically aware, powerful beings, healers in the SuperNova Souls, and a huge amount of healing that needs to happen on the planet. So what's the problem? And this frustration, like, why can't we just do it right? I'm so tired of being belittled for wanting a better world, being made fun of because I feel a connection to God. I want what's right and good and true, that I know healing can happen. It's just like, we've had enough abuse now. And there's this energy of like coming into awareness and what it's all about ultimately. And this frustration's real. I wanted to address this deep, dark feeling, this psychic attack feeling, this being pulled into the death grip of the lower matrix, feeling abused and used again and again, feeling hogtied in a straitjacket while there's all this pain and trauma going on. And you just have to watch it happen. And this is a part of the energy of this astrology is that, well, enough is enough. And now I see, so what would happen if we went to these councils and said, hey, we finally realize that we're your greatest asset right now. Like, you guys are so effed. Because it's gone too far now. And the only way we're going to get out of this is with the SuperNova Souls and their light and their support and their psychic ability to hold timelines and be present with peace through this transition. But if the bus drivers, who are the only qualified ones to drive the bus, show up, don't show up to work, who's going to drive the buses? The buses just don't get driven. So we need to reevaluate this contract, because those who have been manipulating and using and feeding us and keeping us feeling powerless and acting like gods to us, they have time travel and they've been like completely manipulating our DNA and breeding us like a science project. All the while you sit here in excruciatingly psychic pain that is absolutely mistreatment, and like, you have so much of beautiful wealth, spiritual wealth within you. And this Taurus activation right now for you, square to the Aquarius planets, is like, oh, wait a minute, I'm a bus driver. I'm trained for this job. And I've got the wealth of what really matters in this world. And it's time to pull ourselves up, get out of that programmed shame and low self-worth that's been afflicted on the SuperNova Soul, specifically to keep you separated from your power, specifically to keep you like, while they're laughing at you, in prison, not even realizing how controlled you are. And so it's time to negotiate that, renegotiate this contract. This is what happens in these situations, right? In work conditions, SuperNova Souls, I'm hearing that you're overwhelmed psychically. You're taking on, you're siphoning through so much garbage. It's hard to even get through your day right now with this attack that's going on, this lower matrix death grip, which means it's dying. Right? But still, you're taking the brunt of it like you always do. And it's about time you get treated with respect. And respect might be, hey, if you want us to work on some kind of project with you, then you need to show up and talk to us in our consciousness. No more mystery messages and codes and dreams. It's like, show up and let's talk about it real, because we don't have access to time travel. We don't have access to these multiple, we know we're working in them, but in this consciousness, we only have access to 3D right now. And if you can't show up right here and receive with integrity our support, then game over. And now it's interesting because it's like, what would happen? SuperNova Souls, they're way too caring and compassionate, and they never do this. But what would happen if we just said, hey, we've gone through enough abuse now, and you're not treating us with the respect we deserve, and we're not part of this project anymore. Earth is doomed. You are playing such an important role. And here you are feeling abandoned, lost, forgotten, lied to. This is where it's like, as a sensitive evolved soul, you have the power. What happens as we go through our spiritual evolution and we show up and we do our work and we do our karmic work and we clear our trauma body and we do all this healing and all this ancestral healing, you get more and more sensitive. The more evolved you are as a spiritual being, the more sensitive. And so this current situation feels like we've been sent to the wolves, because we're holding the psychic pain of the consciousness of humanity. Now, the story is that humanity can't handle the truth. And Q says that if people knew the full truth, 90% of us would go to the mental institution. So what do? We're just going to sit here in this uncomfortable soup of garbage that we've been recycling and transmuting. It's like, you know what? This is not doing right by you. It's not honoring your gifts and skills as the wealth that's going to get us through this. And some shit's got to change, and the change that is available to us with this Leo full moon, it's about this like expression of our full potential and using everything to say, hey, you know what? I see now the wealth that I have. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to play. Because when we really think about this contract it feels like a contract that needs to be reevaluated, but then it's like, but Adrian told us that there's nothing outside of us more powerful than who we are, right? So the contract is null and void. Just like the so-called president of the United States right now is of a defunct, bankrupt corporation. There's nothing there to back it up. And so the contract needs to be completely thrown out. And we got to get our marching orders from our highest self, from the master, from our God self, from God, This is the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, the greater conjunction. It's the God's plan. And if we haven't found a better time to get back on the divine plan, I don't know. Everything's leading up to this. Saturn and Jupiter moving over into Aquarius together as this greater conjunction. So we got to throw out the contract entirely. And that's the deal. Like these manipulators, these energies in form that say they're higher dimensional beings that have been manipulating and farming us. Like if you've ever read that book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and the mice are doing experiments on the humans. That's exactly what's going on. But it's insectoids. There's a lot of insectoids involved, and these advanced beings manipulating our DNA, right? And it's like, this is the deal where we can't go forward and do the role we came here to play with all this deception. And even deception on the side of trying to do something good right now and save the planet and save America and save humanity, it's still hurting the psychic health. Truth is healthier. And there's a huge army of light workers that once being let out of their straitjacket in the systems supporting you can do this incredible work, right? But we're just at this stranglehold. And the frustration, the main energy of this is all these squares that are about like pressure to change. And, but they're in fixed signs because we're trying to establish a new energy, a new reality. And then what's really going on, I think that's bringing a lot of this frustration to the surface is Mercury getting ready to turn retrograde. That happens on the 31st, a couple of days after this full moon in Leo. And it's kind of like Mercury retrograde, nothing can happen. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, how are we going to even make it through this pressure and this uncomfortable feeling like change has got to come, but something's holding it back. Change has got to come, but something's holding it back. And that place is excruciatingly painful for the advanced soul. So I just want to say, I hear you. I hear your frustration. I hear your defeat. I hear your disillusion. I hear all of this. But now is our time to come into the spiritual wealth that we are, because the reality is that nothing can stop what's coming. There's massive changes underway. Mercury retrograde, we're probably not going to see it. The powers, the energies of this big chess game that's playing, they don't make big moves during Mercury retrograde. Mercury turns direct on the 21st of January, comes out of its retrograde shadow on the 13th of March. So we've got this like 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks of Mercury retrograde stagnation. Now, Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, and Mercury's kind of going like back and forth, this retrograde between the old and new paradigm, being like, how do we work this out? How do we make sense of this? How do we do this in a harmonized way? You know? And the answer feels to me that it's really important to value and honor this team of light workers for, you know, and support them in this shift. Because if this truth is going to cause psychic damage in the huge need, guess what? The trauma this is the deal. The trauma that would come from truth and for humanity, we're feeling it, and as psychically sensitive souls right now, we're feeling it. We're trying to transmute this massive garbage, and it's like, is this abuse or am I part of a team? Because I've had enough of this. Enough lies, enough deception. Come talk to me in this 3D reality about what's really going on and what role you'd like me, what I'm here to play, you know? Like, the structures have got to shift to allow this psychic healing to happen. And here we have this huge wealth of talented healers, you know, and you're already doing the work, right? But can't continue in such an abusive, destructive relationship where, you know, it's like that place in that narcissist empath relationship where the empath finally realizes the abuse and they say, okay, this is what's required. You're going to have to, in order for this to continue, you're going to have to treat me with respect. You're going to have to honor my person. You're going to have to allow me to have my own thoughts and beliefs and freedom, you know? And at that point, the narcissist says, oh, no, you're my food source, and now you're cutting me off. So I'm going to drop you like a, you know, a bad habit, right? You know, but this is where we're at. It's this place of standing up in our wealth, that we are the crucial piece right now. And the forces, you know, any forces out there that are actually not pretending, right? This is what we're dealing with. Lies upon lies upon lies of energies, Galactic Council Federation saying, oh, we're helping you. We're helping you. We're helping you to stay disconnected from your power, because if you got anywhere near that, you'd know that you're more powerful than us in your God consciousness. So we're helping you. And it's like, this is the pain, the deep psychic pain in our world. It's like, how many times are we going to be lied to and deceived and betrayed and abandoned? This is not serving anybody, because we're running out of oxygen here, you know? And, but all of this astrology is about you, SuperNova Soul, being like, holy crap, I got this massive wealth. And I'm going to stand up for this. I'm not going to feed that bullshit anymore. No more. I mean, how many times have you tried to have conversations? And this is the narrative right now. It's like, well, we just got to wake people up. This is all just to wake people up, you know? And it's like, Have you tried to have a conversation recently with like, and how many times do we need to be belittled and abused for wanting to take care of people and have a better world and have truth? And this does not connect. You're hurting me. Your light is bad thing. And it's just like, sorry. We're dealing with mind-controlled masses that want to just feed off of the news feed, that whatever mainstream media. So we're stuck. We're stuck here. And that's the feeling of this Mercury retrograde. But of course, we know that big changes are happening no matter what. Nothing can stop it. This is your time to come into your wealth. The Black Moon Lilith, dark hidden shadows. Mars, Uranus, Black Moon Lilith. A revolution. How we come into our spiritual wealth and our self-respect again is to clean up those shadows. The shadows for Supernova Soul, I mean, are you cutting up children and eating them? You're a fucking saint. You're an angel. Stop staying in that shame. Stand up for who you are. Take your power back. Throw out that contract. So it's a really intense time and lots of pressure building. But with this Leo full moon, the message is like this pressure is about you claiming back your wealth and your power and shining your light. The way out of this whole thing is to shine the light. The light, if you have a dark room like this Black Moon Lilith, it's the dark closet that all the crap is hidden in there in the corners, right? And if you open that door, how long does it take for the light to shine on, to light the room? It's instant. You don't have to wait for it. And so this Leo full moon is saying, hey, it's time for you to own your wealth. And we own our wealth by shining our light. And I have to say right now, like there's multiple energies of being uncomfortable in this world as a light worker. Showing up in your truth, you've exposed yourself. You've got enemies all around you. Invalidation all around you. Nothing can support you in this old paradigm. And yet, we can be this vessel of light for this Christ consciousness to just flood on the planet and reveal the darkness. It's not our job to go out there and try to bring enlightenment to those souls that are asleep. And but this is the energy, and I see this like energy of this great comfort, this comfort of light, like the Yeshua golden yellow light, this presence that's just opening the door and all that's dark is revealed. And we're right there, but we're in the death grip of the lower matrix, of the parasitic reality, the monster just like pulling us down. And yet, in this place that we're at, we know that everything that's working against us is actually working for us. And it's about sprouting and being that vessel of this truth, of this white light, yellow light, this exposure. And your righteousness and your power and your armor of God, and just showing up and in your full expression. This is the Leo full moon is saying, this is how we get through this shift. You can't shine your light like this and receive God's love as long as you're feeling shameful and like you failed. This is this, this Sagittarius South Node being so activated with this delusional movie, and we're at that place in the movie. The South Node Sagittarius is the hero's journey. And in the hero's journey, there's a place where it looks like you failed, and it looks like there's no hope. All hope is lost. But that's just before the hero kicks in, But the darkness and distortion of this, which is going along with this Taurus activation for the Supernova Soul, is this deep, profound programming, this low self-worth programming that says you somehow failed as a light worker. Now you're just stuck here in prison prison planet. You got all this stuff to work out. You got all this karma. And it's like, I'm starting to realize more and more that we don't actually have to be here. We're way beyond this bullshit. We just bought into this, you know? And those that we thought that we were helping us, you know, actually trying to keep us down from our power. Because you as an advanced soul, as a supernova soul, the definition of who you are is that you've already gone through spiritual ascension. You've already worked in higher dimensional frequencies. You came in as a full initiate. Nothing required. And that purified soul that you came in with has gotten muddied up and covered up and pushed into the corner and the shadows. Don't put baby in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner, right? You know? And it's like time to get baby out of the corner and get her up on stage, you know, and dance and celebrate. So this truth that you may have been operating out of contractual arrangements to play this game, but now you see that you're the wealth, and this whole thing can't happen without you. And you're going to own that value. You know, this is our revolution. Is like out of that. But the low self-worth is connected to the South Node Sagittarius energies of something like you failed in your mission, you failed God, you got to like deserve it, earn it, work really hard, prove yourself. You got to heal this person, then you can be free. And that's where we've gotten into this pitfall. But it all goes back to this low self-worth. That's just total bullshit. So it's time to step up in our power and recognize that where we came from and our true source, our true marching orders and plan is that God's plan, divine plan. We are the second coming, the Christ consciousness embodied. And so it's an old defunct contract with any lower beings. You know, so those beings that have been manipulating us in our DNA and using time travel to mess with us through lifetimes while we play by the rules, you know, they're not as evolved as where we came from. And it's almost like this whole lower matrix control cabal energy. You know, you awake is their greatest fear. No wonder us who have stayed awake have been just beaten down again and again, right? But you made it and we're here. So don't let this deceive you anymore. You are the wealth, you have the power, and let's come together for this Leo full moon and just support each other in this field that we've grown, this power. You know, one supernova soul's one thing, so powerful if they come into their power, right? But a group of us consciously working together, affirming and reaffirming the light that we are, and that we don't need to answer to anybody anymore. And now it's time for us to be, if we're going to work together, then you'll need to consciously come in this 3D reality and talk about it and ask for our help. Otherwise, we're just not playing. We're going to sit true in our God light, but we're not in any agenda anymore, you know? And so really incredibly powerful time. And it's interesting that, you know, the new moon was in Capricorn and we had the same configuration, different planets, but 3 planets in Aquarius, 3 in Taurus in square. That's 9 different squares, right? And now we have that again. It was Mercury with the greater conjunction for the new moon. For the full moon, it's the sun with the greater conjunction across from the moon, you know, in Leo. So intense energies. So this full moon is a culmination of where we said on the new moon, hey, no more. I'm taking my power back, right? And maybe that's why we're feeling this intense pulling back down into the soup and the swamp. Like this, it's like, you know, this, the monster is being killed. Some of the heads have been cut off already, but it's flailing and it's dying and it's in the death grip. It's like that narcissist relationship where, particularly the covert narcissists often will, you know, it's like, wait a minute, you exposed me in my in this emptiness of this game that I've been playing with my mask, you know, and if I'm going down, the whole ship's going down. They have no qualms at taking everybody down with them. And that's what feels like is the energetically trying to happen right now. You know, like if this lower matrix is going down, it's going to take everybody with it. And we are kind of having a death experience, you know? And for the supernova soul, especially with this Leo full moon, it can be a death of all its faults. Everywhere you've been giving your power away. And just like this affirmation of your spiritual wealth and how key and crucial you are right now. And it's time for you to be treated in accordance with this wealth, with deep and profound respect. So when you come and you're asking me to be a part of your plan and play a role, come bearing gifts. Because we know who we are now, the bus drivers. And but then again, reevaluating contract, it's like, oh wait, this is defunct corporation. So the contract is null and void. It's all null and void. Everything that's playing out in our world right now is completely null and void. And that's part of the deep psychic pain, is this feeling like facing how much we've been lied to and betrayed. You know, and it's like, for an aware soul right now, it's this sick feeling because you're, like we said, transmuting that collective energy. But once the truth comes out, you're holding it right now. And that's where this incredible, excruciating psychic pain is coming from. Showing you your power, showing you your wealth, showing you your worth, and the Leo full moon saying time to shine. Your wealth is shining this light. No more playing games. No more playing small. I don't care. You can make fun of me for being a good person all you want, but I've got the righteous truth, the light of God within me. And if you have any of that shadowy darkness, parasitic, ego, psychological control energy going on, and you're going to come near me, that shit's going to be exposed. And I'm not scared, you know? And to hold right in this. We've been backing down, right? Because the monster is so intense, but now the monster's just got us. But not really, right? So the whole point is that it's not as it seems. This is the weird, scary part of the movie when all seems lost and all that work you did for lifetimes feels like it's never going to get us anywhere and you want to give up hope. But really, it means you're just about to break out of your shell, of your playing small, and into that full expression of who you are, which is so needed and so valuable on this planet right now, and such a gift. And I have to come and tell you that you are deeply and profoundly appreciated, and there in energies in awe of you and what you've been able to pull off. And all that's been stolen from you will be returned, and all that you've reaped will be sown. All you've sown will be reaped, you know, like the abundance of you. The world that's coming is going to support, appreciate, and honor this abundance as the most important, most valuable commodity. So isn't it time to start living from that place? And I'm so glad we're here together to do that. So I hope you'll consider joining me for this full moon in Leo. If you can't make the live, you can catch the replay. The energy's there encoded. You're part of the group. You're part of the energy. When you sign up to join, you're saying yes to this field we're creating, bringing our power together. You know, the Starseed Rebellion that, you're not doing right by us and honoring what you have here in this wealth. You're shitting on it. You know, and it's time for us to stand up with some self-respect, you know, and own our worth and wealth and start working with it, you know. And we're not going to hold back the tide anymore because there's too many healers here available once those pathways are open. So we're not buying it. But all of this is pushing us to the sprouting, to use everything to just burn away all that's false, all that lower construct, parasitic, psychological ego energy. This is part of your mission here that you didn't know, but it's like you wanted to heal these lineages, what some people call the Illuminati bloodlines or whatever. And these are like the most treacherous, evil things that have happened on our planet. The money control, the Babylonian money magic system, keeping us as slaves, right? But these bloodlines, before they were the evil bloodlines, they were the magical bloodlines, right? This is where the light comes through too. The advanced souls, as an advanced soul, you actually need to be in one of these bloodlines. And I'm sorry to say. And then you came here and you want to heal the whole thing. You want to heal the whole earth. And so what did you do? You found the sickest, distorted beings you could find as parents and family members. And here you are, your innocent light, going up against this nasty reptilian insectoid monster. Little old you fighting the dragons, and maybe taking back your dragon power. And it's a huge job you've taken on, and you're so amazing, and it's so beautiful, and so much gratitude. So keep up the great work. Hang in there. Know for this Mercury retrograde, we're in a holding pattern. It's going to feel like we're in the grip of the death process and going down with the ship, but that's not what's happening at all. Nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing can stop this revelation of light. And so why don't we just go be there and start feeling better right now? As we have our starseed rebellion and pop into the power that we are together. So I love that energy going into this full moon in Leo, and I look forward to seeing you there or on the next update. Hang in there for this part of the movie. Keep breathing, keep loving yourself, and knowing how beautiful, how powerful you are, how needed, how respected, how honored you are, even though this world has not been able to show you that. Time to rewrite the story. So that's what this Mercury retrograde is about, is a rewriting of the story, and how do we get into this Aquarian age. Time to shine and let the sunshine in. And so I look forward to seeing you at that new full moon activation or on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.